I've heard people talk about the Gulf. Oh, it doesn't affect me. It's not here. Well, no, yeah, it does affect you. You know, it affects the whole planet. You know, so maybe that's the thing too, that it's not, you know, right in their yard or in their community that it, you know, they're okay.
And that's another thing that I thought we could have some fun with in the film. We're going to do a skit to help people visualize what their ecological footprint is. Ecological footprint really is, you know, is how much land and water on the earth. Your ecological footprint is how much land and water is required to meet your needs, to process your waste, grow the food and the materials for the Gucci purses and the, you know, I'm just teasing. But anyway,
some people need Gucci purses.
Right, and people don't know that. Most people don't know the size of their ecological footprint. And what is it? It's 24. The average American is like 24 acres.
Like 5 times the rest of the world.
Yeah, but you know, you don't see all of those impacts. Don't follow you around. We export a lot of our waste, you know, halfway around the planet by buying products that are made in China. Sure. And our food, you know, the average food item on the grocery store shelves has traveled 1,500 miles to get to you. So you don't physically see it, and I think that's a big part of the challenge for us to, if we need to change our behavior, it's hard when we don't see the impact. It's not immediate, and it's geographically distant from us as well. So we're going to do a little thing where a family actually kind of lives in a bubble. You know, they're surrounded by their footprint. If they want to leave the lights on, then right out in their backyard is that coal-fired power plant, and it's belching out carbon emissions and the other emissions, and it's staying right there. It's not blowing away. It's in their bubble.
So they have to take care of that.
Yeah, and when they throw away a lot of trash because they were wasteful and they didn't recycle, there's, you know, no truck takes that trash out of sight. Right. The trash stays in sight. So we're going to try to have a little bit of fun and help people.
Sounds great.
At least you know, raise it in our consciousness a little bit.
In a way that people can understand. Like you're saying, if you're living in a bubble, and that's, I mean, instead of the whole planet being our bubble, you have your own little bubble, you really better take really good care of that space.
Yeah. And you know, you know, the whole planet, there's this concept, spaceship Earth, you know, there is no there is no way to throw things. And part of our challenge, I think, is this habit. We've gotten in this habit of feeling like we could throw things away.
It's plastic. The invention of plastic, as much as it did, you know, good for us, it's just really coming back. You know, the Pacific garbage jar, there's one in the Atlantic, there's probably so much that we don't see, you know, that we haven't found our big pollution piles.
Yeah, and in the case of plastic, of course, there's always been some bad news associated with that. But a lot of the other things we did, we could have done. You know, when the scale of the human enterprise on the planet was smaller, when there were only 1 billion of us doing it, we could make more mistakes and be forgiven for those mistakes because the Earth could recover from it. But we've insisted on ignoring overpopulation, and we've also insisted on growing our economy. And now we're at a point where, wow, we have really filled up the planet with the scale of the human enterprise. So now everything we do is right there. It's bouncing right back at us.
What do you think is the, you know, there's a carrying capacity for everything, and once we reach the carrying capacity of our planet, you know, for humans, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, I know that's a really
it's happening, you know.
Yeah.
It's happening. The scientists that I've interviewed for the film,
everything.
You know, you'd be hard pressed to find a scientist on the planet today who would tell you that we haven't already exceeded the carrying capacity of the planet. And the only reason we're surviving in that mode is because we're in the process of liquidating the planet of a lot of natural resources. We're burning through fossil fuels that are not renewable. We're depleting fertile soils that are not regenerating fast enough.
Water, that's going to be a major.
Yeah. So we're just sort of, right now what we're doing is we're borrowing resources that really belong to future generations, which, boy, we ought to be shot for doing that. Right. But there's hope. There's hope.
Good, good. So what else?
Well, one thing, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about the film. It's a little unusual for a filmmaker to be promoting a film before it's finished. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is just because of the unusual nature of the way we're making it. Sure. Because we are a nonprofit and we don't have investors who have put up the money to produce the film. I'm basically going to the poorhouse, putting my money into the film. But it's helpful for people around the country and around the world to know about it now, because they can support it today.
Sure. They can make it so that everyone else can be able to watch it.
That's right, and that's what I hear every
Let's
day.
get
I
it
hear
finished.
I hear from somebody who says, "This film has got to be seen. What can I do to help you finish it?" And so, volunteers are transcribing interviews for us now. They're doing research. They're helping us promote it.
That's
They're
great.
contributing money to help us get the film
And I went on your
finished.
website, and you do have a listing of there's many different volunteer opportunities. No matter what people's talents are, they could definitely find a place in your organization to help.
Yeah, and we really do. We need all the help we can get, because we're basically not spending a lot of money making the film. But it's a fun process doing it that way. There's a lot of camaraderie. Yeah. And it's a part of the journey, and I'm even making that a part of the story of the film, is how difficult it's been to fund the film, how challenging it's been to make the film, the reaction that
Very
I'm getting
realistic.
from some people.
Very.
Yeah.
That's great.
The other thing, I guess, is one little story in the film that you may not have even discovered yet. Is that I decided to run for city council in my own
I did
community.
see that on.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And
Did you win?
I did not, but I did not expect to, because I was up against an incumbent who was very well funded. But I got 43% of the vote,
Wow.
which was pretty good. Which told me people were more ready for this message than I thought. And my message was that our community could have real prosperity if we get unhooked from growth. That we were investing a lot of money in growth subsidies, expecting this mythical pot of gold at the end of the growth rainbow. And that ties into the film really well, because one of the couple of pairs of dots I'm trying to connect for the audience is that we have today, communities are competing with each other for growth. They're trying to attract businesses, grow their economies, attract people, because they think that's going to increase the tax base and everybody's tax rate will go down. It never happens.
The services that are necessary.
It never happens, and you can't have a sustainable world if it's full of communities that are acting unsustainably.
All right. And did I ask, when do you expect that, or do you?
You did early next year. It'll
Okay.
be out.
Very good. What did you do before this? You had said that you made some other films prior to this.
I've been a professional filmmaker since I got out of college, before I got out of college, but I spent most of my career, a short period of time, doing a PBS series, but then most of the time I was producing corporate films, sales videos, annual meeting films for corporate clients, including some that I probably shouldn't admit to, like even Enron. I did a film for Enron. But
You were hooked on growth.
I was hooked on growth, and my dream was that I would have a big house and a ski condo and jet off to Cabo for vacation. And unfortunately, I lived on the planet too late. That isn't really going to be the model that we can all live by going forward, not with 7 billion or more of us on the planet. But that's okay. We're going to have a lot of fun.
We are, and we're, you never know. Every day there's new thinkers and, people thinking different ways. So thank you. Thank you for bringing your different way of, for us to think about the
Very
future.
different, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of kids should watch this because they're pretty powerful, and it's their planet that we're borrowing from them.
Yeah, they should be a little unhappy with us.
Yeah,
So
they definitely should be.
we'll do better for them, I hope.
Good, we'll try. Thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.